Should you be for regime change when the Soviet Union fell and the Berlin Wall fell to the ground? I will submit the answer is unambiguously yes. The world is better off when a cruel, tyrannical communist regime falls. Should you be for regime change today in communist China? I think unambiguously yes. The world would be better off if China were no longer a communist country. Should you be for regime change in Iran? I would suggest unambiguously yes. The world would be a better place if Iran was not governed by a theocratic, murderous, religious zealot who has killed hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans. Now, what is the consequence of saying you're for regime change? If it is that you're going to send hundreds of thousands of American troops to invade the country and be on the ground for years on end and die in IEDs and be killed, then I don't support that. That is wrong. And part of the reason regime change has become an insult is people hear it and they immediately think the Iraq War. Remember, I've opposed the Iraq War for decades. By the way, when Tucker Carlson was an interventionist cheerleader with pom-poms cheering on the Iraq War, which he did for years with his bow tie, I've said for years the Iraq War was clearly a mistake. Why? Because it did not advance U.S. national security interest. Saddam Hussein was a cruel and oppressive dictator. He was killing terrorists who hated America. Yeah. We came in, we toppled Saddam Hussein, and the terrorists who hated America took over and began killing Americans. By the way, we did the same thing in Libya with Gaddafi. Gaddafi was cruel and oppressive, but he was killing terrorists who hate Americans. We toppled Gaddafi, and the terrorists who hate Americans took over. I believe we should be America first, which means we should put America's national security interests first. But just because you don't want to commit boots on the ground and have hundreds or thousands of Americans die in protracted ground combat does not mean that you should support every tyrannical enemy of America. We should want regime change in Iran. And are there ways to promote regime change other than boots on the ground? And yes, and I would say one of them is what Donald J. Trump said. I want to read his tweet again. Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help. President Donald J. Trump. I agree with President Trump. And Tucker and everyone else who is blasting that we should have nothing to do with Iran, they're disagreeing with the president, and they are wrong. We should use our voice.